Have you ever wondered why life keeps throwing challenges at you, as if testing how much you can take before you break? Have you ever asked yourself why some people go out of their way to block your path, to make you stumble, to watch you fall? What if I told you that all those obstacles, all those betrayals, all those silent battles you fought were never meant to destroy you? They were shaping you into something unstoppable. What if I told you that every stone they threw was actually being turned into the very steps you needed to rise higher? You see, the people who tried to bring you down never realized that life has its own mysterious balance, its own ancient system of justice. They thought they could bury you, but they forgot that seeds grow in the dark. They forgot that under pressure, under silence, under dirt, you were quietly growing roots. And now, you are rising, louder and stronger than ever, and they can't stand to watch you grow. But here's the truth. None of this was random. None of this was an accident. This is the quiet force of life, making sure that no betrayal goes unanswered, no manipulation goes unnoticed, and no cruelty goes unbalanced. The very people who plotted your downfall are now being trapped by the same schemes they set for you. That's the symmetry of life. What you send out comes back, and what they tried to crush you with has now turned against them. The critics who wanted to see you fail, the jealous ones who waited to watch you break, they were sure they'd win. But they never saw the power quietly growing inside you. The more darkness they threw, the brighter you became. Their envy backfired. Their sabotage lifted you up. They whispered your name, hoping to ruin you. But all they did was give your name weight and meaning. Your silence is haunting them. Your quiet strength is a mirror they can't stop staring into, a reflection of everything they will never be. You didn't just survive what they threw at you, you evolved. You didn't just push through, you transformed. You became living proof that pressure doesn't just break things, it creates diamonds. And now, the quiet force inside you, the one they underestimated, is fully awake, and they're about to see what happens when a silent power rises. You were never powerless. You were never weak. The strength you've needed has always been inside you, but the world taught you to look in the wrong places. It told you that power was about big displays, loud voices, shiny objects, flashy success, social media followers, expensive things, gold chains, and big titles. But if that were true, why are the loudest, flashiest people often the emptiest inside? Why do they crumble the second they're left alone in silence? It's because what the world calls power is just noise pretending to be strength. True power is calm. True power is quiet. It doesn't need to be loud or flashy. It doesn't need to announce itself or force attention. It simply walks into a room and everything shifts. It moves with focus, with purpose, and with a calm that shakes people more than any loud noise ever could. If power only came from status or muscle, why do the most overlooked people, the outsiders, the quiet ones, the black sheep, end up changing history? It's because their power doesn't come from noise. It comes from their mindset, their vision, their alignment with something deeper. You weren't playing by their rules. You didn't waste your energy fighting dirty or screaming for attention. While they were busy throwing stones, you were building something lasting from the dust. And now, the power you built is shaking the ground under their feet. You don't need the world's shallow definition of power. chasing that will leave you empty every time. They want you to believe that power comes from being seen, from getting attention, from having the most followers or the most expensive things. But their power is fake. The second the lights go off, it fades. The moment they stop getting attention, they disappear. They're addicted to being seen, but terrified of being truly known. Because underneath the glitter, they know there's nothing solid there. But you don't need the spotlight. You are the quiet storm behind the curtain. Your presence speaks for you. Your silence carries weight. While they chase trends, you're transforming. While they crave applause, you're building real strength. True power isn't something you wear. It's something you activate. It shows up in your calm when they expect you to panic, in your stillness when they try to provoke you, in your control when they want to pull you out of character. That's when they realize your power doesn't come from the outside, it flows from within. The most dangerous kind of power doesn't shout. It just shows up, and the room adjusts. Never underestimate what belief can do. Think about David and Goliath. David didn't need heavy armor or big weapons. What made him powerful was his belief, his focus, his precision. That's the energy you carry now. People expected you to show up with money, fame, or connections. Instead, you showed up with quiet confidence, clear vision, and a will they couldn't break. That's what shook them. You didn't look dangerous, but you were dangerous. You didn't panic. You moved with purpose. Belief is the most powerful weapon you can hold. When you believe in your own strength, you change the energy of every room you walk into. When you believe in your purpose, doors open without you needing to knock. When you believe you can rise, even the biggest challenges fall away. Stop doubting yourself just because you don't fit the loud, flashy image the world sells. Power isn't about domination. It's about direction, precision, and focus. The most dangerous people aren't always loud. They're accurate. You weren't born to follow the crowd. You were born to win differently. And when you awaken that belief inside you, everything around you starts to shift. This isn't just some nice idea or spiritual fluff. This is real power that changes lives. Too many people roll their eyes when they hear about inner power, alignment, or energy. But look around. Those same people are stuck, trapped in the same cycles, haunted by the same invisible chains they pretend don't exist. Look at your own life. Look at how many traps you avoided. Look at the betrayals that taught you wisdom. Look at how many times you were counted out but still rose. That's not coincidence. That's your power in motion. The chains they tried to use against you, you turned them into armor. The labels they tried to put on you, you made them into strength. This isn't soft or dreamy. This is the force that breaks old patterns, that snaps the ropes of doubt, that silences a room just by walking in. Your energy alone shifts the dynamic. You don't fight for control. You are the control. You were never meant to tiptoe around problems. You were built to walk straight through them. Head held high, spirit steady, energy unstoppable. While others freeze or run, you step forward because you know the truth. Darkness only has power over those who let it. The world will tell you to play it safe, to blend in, to avoid standing out, to bend so you don't break. But that's how they control people without real power, not you. The second you start bowing to fear, you give up your strength. But you weren't made to hand anything over. You were made to take it all back. The ones who tried to scare you, to intimidate you, to use their shadows against you, they're the ones shaking now because you refused to fold. You didn't detour. You didn't surrender. You didn't beg for the storm to stop. You became the one who walks through storms without flinching. That's the difference between just surviving and truly ruling. They take cover. You take command. Darkness tests everyone, but it only respects the ones who rise and stare it in the face. It respects the steady ones, the unshakable ones, the ones who walk through fire and make the flames flicker with doubt. The truth is, the people who tried to stop you never wanted you to fight. They wanted you to give up quietly. They wanted you passive, polite, powerless. But here you are, still rising, still moving, stepping over everything they once used to control you. You don't run from darkness. You don't kneel before it. You rise above it. And now, it's time to stop asking why you were attacked. The attacks weren't random. They were carefully aimed, designed to break you, because you are a threat. The enemy, the doubters, the jealous ones, they don't waste energy on people who aren't going anywhere. The reason you were betrayed, gossiped about, lied on, or isolated isn't because you were weak. It's because you were transforming. The moment you stopped seeking approval, something shifted inside you. Your growth, your rise, your strength triggered a reaction. You shook the ground they were standing on, and they knew they couldn't hold you back anymore. So stop wondering why they came after you. Start realizing what their attacks reveal about your power. They saw something in you, a strength, a force, a rising energy that they couldn't control. And now, the more you rise, the more they realize they can't stop you. You weren't just built to survive the chaos. You were built to transform it, to rise through it, and to come out stronger every single time. You are no longer a silent force waiting in the background. You are the shift, the storm, the unstoppable wave that shakes everything fake and weak to its core. You are the living proof that the underestimated ones, the quiet ones, the overlooked ones, they are the ones who rise and leave a mark that no one can erase. They thought they had you cornered with no escape. When their lives collapsed, they turned to attack, thinking pressure would break you. But here's the twist they never saw coming. Their pressure didn't destroy you, it activated you. The fire they threw at you didn't burn you up, it refined you. The silence they forced on you didn't crush you, it sharpened you. The losses you endured didn't break you, they made you dangerous. Now they're confused. After all the setbacks, betrayals, and attacks, you're still standing, not just standing, but rising. You need to stop seeing every hardship as punishment. Start seeing it as confirmation that you are moving into new ground, shaking systems, and threatening forces that can't control you. Every delay wasn't bad luck. It was the system trying to stall a threat it couldn't understand. You were never just a victim. You were always a weapon in the making. Your power doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It just needs to be activated. And now, it's too late for anyone to put the lid back on what's been awakened inside you. When you feel under attack, don't panic. Smile. It means you've hit the target. It means you're closer to your breakthrough than you know. They tried to silence you, but they only woke up the powerful version of you they feared most. That's why you must keep going. But remember, power that sits unused is wasted. They lied when they told you you were powerless. But if you never use your strength, it's as if you have none. What good is a weapon if you never draw it? What good is a throne if you never claim it? Many people carry world-shaking potential, but live like they're powerless. That's not humility. That's hesitation. And hesitation is how defeat sneaks in. Power that's never activated becomes your own quiet enemy. You weren't chosen to wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is the moment you decide to act. You weren't given fire, intelligence, and resilience just to admire. They're meant to be used. When you let fear or doubt hold you back, you leave space for your enemies to grow bold and for darkness to settle around you. They weren't afraid of your silence. They were afraid of what would happen when you realized what your silence meant. Control, focus, calculation. Once you wake up to what's inside you, you stop reacting and start commanding. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to break patterns, change rooms, and stand when others crumble. If you've been waiting for permission, this is it. It's time to release the power they were never ready to face. Never underestimate belief. It's not just a soft feeling. It's a weapon. Belief turns potential into power. Without it, your gifts stay silent. You don't need applause or approval. You need unshakable belief. That's what terrifies those who doubted you. Belief isn't weak. It's resurrection. It's quiet, but its results are loud. Belief rewrites your story, breaks patterns, and shifts your path. When you believe fully, the universe moves with you. People sense it. Opportunities lean toward it, and your enemies lose sleep over it. You've waited long enough. The moment you decide to believe, you unleash a force inside you that can't be stopped. Don't disconnect from yourself. That's how the cracks open. Your connection, your solitude, your inner clarity, these are your weapons. If you're too distracted to pause, too busy to reset, too exhausted to listen to your own spirit, that's not strength. That's exposure. Distraction makes you vulnerable. Focus makes you powerful. Stop waiting for signs. Obedience, action, movement. That's your green light. Power activates when you step forward before everything is clear. You already know what you need to do. Clarity comes after you start walking, not before. You weren't meant to wait for permission. You were meant to create motion. Don't wait for fear to leave. Fear was never meant to disappear. It was meant to be walked through. Power shows up when you take steps even while you're shaking. Every step you take despite fear sharpens you, rewires you, and sends a message. I'm not waiting to feel fearless. I'm moving like I'm already free. Fear thrives on hesitation. But when you act anyway, you starve fear. Your breakthroughs didn't come when you felt ready. They came when you trusted your fire, even in uncertainty. Stop standing still. Stillness isn't always peace. Sometimes it's a trap. You've been waiting for the right time, but the right time is the one you create. You weren't made to play it safe. You were made to stir things up. That dream, that idea, that next move that's been haunting you, that's your signal. You're not stuck. You're stalling. It's time to stop hiding your potential. Let the world adjust. Let your presence speak for itself. This is your moment to rise, move, act, and take back your space. Not when you feel ready, but now. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to disrupt. You were meant to rise. Every second you delay distances you from the power that was always meant to change everything. This moment isn't random. It's your signal, your confirmation, and your responsibility. The fire inside you was never meant to sit quietly. It was meant to be unleashed. Your next level starts the very moment you decide to move.
Have you ever wondered why people seem to notice you without you saying a word? Why their eyes follow you when you walk into a room, or why women seem drawn to your presence, even when you aren't trying to impress anyone? There's something quietly powerful happening within you now. Something that has been building beneath the surface, changing the way the world experiences you in ways you may not have even realized. It's not loud. It doesn't shout for attention, but it's there, steady, undeniable, and magnetic. Without you forcing anything, the air seems to shift when you enter a space. It's not because you're the loudest voice or the biggest personality. It's not because you're acting or putting on a show. It's because your very presence has become strong, centered, and alive. And here's the secret. This isn't something you fake or perform. It's the quiet reward of all the inner work you've done. The long, patient journey of choosing solitude over distractions, of focusing on yourself instead of chasing after fleeting approval. Now, without you even trying, your energy moves ahead of you. It speaks before you do. And people, especially women, feel it. They may not know why their emotions shift when you're near. They may not understand why they feel drawn to you, but their intuition picks up on it because your presence carries a depth they don't encounter every day. You are no longer the man who chases after attention, who shapes himself to fit what others want, who reaches outward hoping to be seen or loved. You are the man who has found his center, who stands firmly in his own truth, who holds a quiet power that others can feel in the air around you. You've become like a flame that no longer needs to chase. You simply burn, steady and sure, and that warmth naturally pulls people closer. This magnetic pull you now carry isn't some random accident. It's the result of the choices you've made, the discipline you've practiced, the patience you've shown as you focused your energy inward. Your glow is not about control or conquest. It's about meeting others on equal ground, reflecting back to them who they are, helping them rise. The sexual energy that once might have been wild or scattered in you has now become calm, refined, and purposeful. It no longer cries out for attention. It no longer seeks validation. It simply exists, flowing steadily, calling the right connections toward you. You're magnetic now, not because you're desperate to be, but because your energy has matured into something the world can no longer ignore. And this is only the beginning. As you continue to choose authenticity over performance, presence over pretending, and self-possession over pursuit, your quiet power will grow even stronger. You are not who you once were, and people sense that, especially women, even if you stay silent. The energy flowing through you today is not the restless, scattered force it once was. It's focused, it's deeply alive. It rises from your very core and connects your instincts, your feelings, your thoughts, and your spirit into one powerful field. And people, especially those attuned to deep feeling, pick up on it as if they are hearing a long-lost song they didn't even realize they'd been missing until you entered the room. This energy you carry is different because it's not about needing or grasping. It's not born out of hunger or desperation. You're no longer looking to be seen, to be validated, to be approved. Your power no longer leaks away. Your desire no longer carries desperation. Your sensuality no longer depends on outcome. That's exactly what makes it so magnetic. You no longer ask the world for permission to exist. You simply exist, fully, completely, unapologetically, and your energy introduces you long before you open your mouth. Women notice it, even if they don't understand why. They see it in the way you hold yourself, in the way you move calmly and deliberately, in the way you stand without needing to fill the room with noise or flash. They see it in your eyes, the way you look without needing, the way you stay steady without playing into games, the way you are no longer flattered by empty attention because you have already accepted yourself. This is the energy of a man who has stopped draining himself to be liked, who has begun holding himself fully, becoming complete on his own. This energy has transformed your interactions. It shapes the way you speak, the way you hold silence, the way you make space without forcing anything. It draws people in without effort, creating a kind of natural gravity that pulls others toward you. You'll notice it in the small reactions, the longer glances, the slower breaths, the quiet curiosity. But none of this is something you need to manufacture or perform. It's simply the result of the truth you now carry deep inside you. You've become the kind of man who can stand in a room and be felt without saying a word, not because you're pushing for attention, but because your energy no longer allows you to be ignored. You are both soft and strong, steady yet unpredictable, grounded but alert. This combination creates a natural tension, not one that demands to be fixed, but one that invites discovery. This is your gift now, and it's up to you to master it, not for shallow attention, but for real, meaningful transformation. Let this power anchor you. Let it remind you that the deepest and most lasting connections come not from performance, but from pure presence, from living fully, honestly, and unapologetically in your truth. There's a quiet strength in you now, a subtle force that can't be taught or copied. It's the kind of strength that speaks loudest in silence, that commands respect through stillness, that draws others in without needing to demand anything. Your high sexual energy, once noisy and scattered, has become still and centered. You no longer chase. You no longer compete. You no longer need to prove yourself. And in the space where effort used to be, mystery has taken its place. Women feel this shift before they even understand it. It's in the way you don't over-explain, in the calm you bring into a room, in the thoughtful way you choose your words. You've become the kind of man who doesn't need to impress anyone because you've already found alignment with your own fire. Your quietness doesn't weaken you, it sharpens you. It creates a subtle tension others can feel but can't easily name. It gives women room to breathe, to wonder, to sense their own intuition rising. They can't predict you, and yet they feel safe with you because your energy no longer comes from insecurity or neediness. It comes from fullness. And because you no longer need anything, everything starts to come to you. You've stepped into a rare kind of confidence, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself. You can speak less and still say more. Your presence has become like quiet electricity, powerful, focused, alive. Women sense it without you having to act. It's not about what you do, it's about what you hold. Your energy is no longer overflowing or leaking away. It's contained, intentional, and that makes it irresistible. You've learned that what you hold back, what you don't give away too quickly, becomes even more desired. You know now that subtlety, the way you touch, the way you pause, the way you hold silence, can create more deep feeling than any loud gesture. This makes you unforgettable. You don't push yourself onto others. You linger quietly in their minds. You don't fill space just to be noticed. You let space notice you. And that is not about hiding. It's about refinement. It's about trusting that your energy doesn't need to be explained. It only needs to be felt. Those who are truly aligned with you, especially women who are tuned into deeper energy, will not need the full story. They will feel the truth behind your quiet presence. That's why you no longer just attract, you awaken. You are no longer just strong. You are patient. You are precise. You are subtle. And that's why your presence now moves others in ways that don't stir the surface, but shift something deep beneath it. The way you move through life now isn't determined by old rules or borrowed ideas. You've stepped into a space where real connection becomes a dance, not a forced, rehearsed performance, but something organic, alive, electric in your interactions, especially with women. This dance doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the energy you carry. There's a rhythm to how you listen, a natural ease to how you engage, a flow to how you speak. Your chemistry is at its peak now because you're no longer trying to control or force it. You're just attuned to what's real, to the flow of each moment. That's where the deepest connections are born, not through strategy, but through presence. You've learned to sense the unspoken signals, the meaning behind a glance, the energy between the words. Women feel this as soon as they meet you. They sense that you're not here to chase or play games or impress. You are here, fully present, fully engaged, offering your attention with care and intention. And that kind of attention is rare. It lands, it holds, it awakens, because you are no longer interested in surface level games. Women feel safe letting go of their masks. You've created a space where they can be real, where they can soften, where they can breathe. You've learned when to lead and when to wait, when to step forward and when to pause. You know that every genuine interaction is a shared current, a back and forth flow, and you've mastered the art of riding that flow, not overpowering it, but dancing with it. That's why your conversations turn into deeper connections, why your presence leaves an imprint, why people walk away from you feeling like they've just touched something alive. You no longer just talk to women. You meet them. You meet their energy with steadiness. You meet their vulnerability with care. You meet their strength with quiet appreciation. This dance you now embody isn't just physical. It's emotional, spiritual. It's the kind of dance that makes time feel irrelevant, that makes the air between you feel charged even without words. You understand now that not every moment has to lead to something more. Sometimes the dance itself is the gift. Sometimes what you bring out in someone by how you see them is more valuable than anything else. You've become the man who doesn't take energy. You amplify it. You make every interaction better because you're not trying to get something from it. You're offering something to it. You are not just another man in the room. You are the quiet pulse others didn't even know they were waiting to feel. And when they experience it, they don't want it to end. You've realized that your energy no longer just fills space. It shapes it. It's not a passive quality or a hidden strength anymore. It's an invitation. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to explain it. Your high, focused energy is like a door left slightly open, not wide enough for anyone to just walk through, but open enough for the right ones to feel called. There is something sacred about the way you carry this now. You don't demand attention. You don't create chaos. You don't chase after conquest. You offer space. You offer possibility. You no longer throw your energy out hoping for approval. You've learned that when your energy is held, honored, and respected, it becomes a silent invitation. If you're ready for truth, come closer. Women feel this deeply, even if they can't explain why. They sense their walls starting to soften in your presence, not because you're trying to break them down, but because you don't need them to fall. Your energy says, you're safe here. You can be yourself here. And that kind of safety, born from your own steadiness, is rare. You're no longer interested in shallow touches or quick attention. You move with the patience of someone who understands that the deeper the connection, the less it needs to be forced. That's why your energy invites, not pulls. It calls, not chases. It inspires, not manipulates. You've become the kind of man whose presence is quiet but unforgettable. A woman may meet you once and feel her whole system shift inside, even if she doesn't know why. But it's not because you've tricked or seduced her. It's because you've given her space to reconnect with herself by how calmly you stand in your own truth. That's the genius of your energy now. It doesn't demand. It invites. It doesn't push. It opens. It doesn't force. It allows. And you don't offer this to just anyone. You've become selective. You no longer waste your energy on every interaction. You broadcast less, but you impact more. What you offer now is valuable. It's not any performance. It's a quiet doorway. And those who are ready will feel it, not as pressure, but as possibility. They will feel seen, not exposed. They will feel stirred, not overwhelmed. This is what you offer now. A space so deeply rooted in your own truth that it gives others permission to find theirs. You are the chosen one, not because anyone gave you that title, but because you have become the invitation the world didn't even know it was waiting for. And those who are ready, who are wise, will follow, not because you ask, but because your very presence calls to something deep inside them. You are someone who feels things deeply without needing anyone to notice or acknowledge it. You carry your energy calmly, like a still lake, and this quiet strength has a powerful effect on those around you. Without even trying, you create a space where people begin to see themselves more clearly. Just your presence makes them sense what they've outgrown, what they've been avoiding, or what they secretly long for. Your once wild sexual energy has matured. It no longer just attracts or excites. It reveals truth. It draws out hidden feelings, not through words, but through the atmosphere you naturally create. Women around you may feel emotions they can't explain. They may remember parts of themselves they thought were long gone. They may even feel on the edge of tears, not from sadness, but from recognition, because you act like a mirror, reflecting their deeper self, not just their surface. And yet, you stay humble. You don't use this influence to manipulate or control. You stand steady, knowing that not everyone is ready to face their own truth. Some will turn away, some will pretend not to feel it, and some will try to reshape you into something simpler. But you stay grounded, understanding that the kind of clarity you offer is not always received right away. Yet once felt, it leaves a mark. You've become the kind of mirror that doesn't flatter or freeze people in place. You reflect not perfection, but possibility, not comfort, but truth. And those ready to meet that truth are changed by it. You're no longer just moving through the world. You reveal it, quietly, steadily, like someone who has faced himself and now invites others to do the same. Your sexual energy is no longer about chasing or proving. You hold it like something sacred, something self-contained. You've learned that true power is not about dominance, but balance. You've stepped past the old need for control or validation. Now, the strongest part of your presence comes not from what you project outward, but from the peace you hold inside. And because of that, your chemistry with women has never been stronger. They feel your balance before you speak, in the way you carry yourself, the way you stand firm whether noticed or ignored, the way you stay calm through attention or silence. You no longer fall for shallow games or false challenges. You see through them, and you remain unshaken. That kind of steadiness disarms those who try to control or seduce without depth. You become the mirror that reveals what's real. And in doing so, you call the real to rise. Your passion and intensity are still there, but now they serve something higher, your purpose. You no longer waste energy proving your strength. You simply live it, making it obvious without saying a word. Your connections have shifted. You're no longer drawn to surface-level interactions. You crave depth, and only those who can meet you at that level hold your attention. The spark no longer needs to be forced. It arises naturally from the space you hold. Women sense this immediately. Even after a few words, they feel something shift inside, not because you impressed them, but because you reminded them of their own truth. You offer not entertainment, but resonance, a kind of connection that can't be faked. Depth is now your way of life. It's in your tone, your stillness, the way you wait for the right moment. You speak only when it matters. And because of this, your relationships may be fewer, but they are meaningful. The right people stay, and the wrong ones fall away naturally. You've stopped chasing perfect images or fantasies. You've chosen to live authentically, and that choice has made you more magnetic than ever. Women can feel the difference. You are not selling yourself or seeking attention. You are simply here, whole, unapologetic, and real. This presence doesn't scream. It resonates. It lingers, making you unforgettable. You bring clarity, not chaos. You invite others into their truth, not through pressure, but through example. You stand firm, say no when needed, hold your energy with care, and that steadiness builds trust wherever you go. Your power no longer comes from how much you do or say. It comes from how fully you show up as yourself. Your influence is no longer about temporary attraction. It's about the lasting impact you have on those you meet. You are remembered not just for how you look or what you say, but for what you awaken in others. You create waves that echo long after you're gone. You now understand that your presence itself is a kind of leadership. You walk into rooms and shift them, not by force, but by alignment. You meet people and change them, not by playing a role, but by being so rooted in yourself that they can't help but see themselves more clearly. Your once restless energy has become something sacred, something that calls people back to themselves. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to leave people better than you found them, not by fixing, but by holding space for truth. This is your legacy. Not noise, not performance, but a quiet, lasting echo, the mark of someone who lived fully in his truth and invited the world to rise and meet him there.
Have you ever wondered why you're still standing after everything you've been through? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself how you've managed to hold on, even when life has thrown storm after storm your way? Maybe you don't even realize just how much you've endured, how many times you could have broken, but didn't, how many moments you could have walked away, but chose to stay, to fight, to keep going. This message is reaching you right now for a reason, not by accident, not by luck, but because it is time for you to finally understand what all those struggles have meant and why they have shaped you into someone far stronger than you think. You didn't just happen to come across these words today. You are here because you have been through something most people around you couldn't see, something that tested you not just on the surface, but deep inside your heart. You have been carrying burdens, facing disappointments, handling heartbreaks, and moving through silent battles that no one else knows about. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still standing, still hoping. You didn't just survive all of that. You passed, and not by cheating, not by taking the easy way out, not by pretending to be someone you're not. You passed by staying true to yourself, by holding on to your integrity, by standing firm even when everything inside you wanted to give up. Life has feel normal one day, and the next, everything falls apart. Someone you loved walks away. Something you counted on disappears. Plans you made crumble. Bills show up that you can't pay. You pray for help, for a sign, for something, anything. But it feels like the universe goes silent. You find yourself in the middle of a storm you never saw coming, holding on for dear life, wondering how you're supposed to keep going. And here's the truth. No one else really sees what you're carrying. On the outside, you smile, you show up, you keep pushing forward. But inside, you're tired, you're hurting, you're wondering if you can take one more step. You've asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? Why can't something just work out for once? You felt forgotten. You felt invisible. You felt like your efforts don't matter. But here's what you didn't realize. Every tear you cried was noticed. Every sacrifice you made was counted. And every moment you kept going when you wanted to quit was building something inside you that no one can take away. You weren't being punished by life. You were being tested. And the test wasn't about facts or knowledge. It wasn't about how smart you are or how much you know. It was about your heart, your resilience, your ability to hold on when everything was falling apart. It was about staying true to yourself when it would have been easier to take shortcuts or pretend. It was about standing tall when the ground under you was shaking. And you didn't give up. You didn't cheat. You didn't take the easy way. You didn't let bitterness or anger change who you are. You didn't let heartbreak harden you. You didn't let fear control you. You stayed soft in a hard world. You stayed honest in a world full of lies. You stayed strong, even when you felt weak. And that is not a small thing. That is everything. Maybe you don't even realize how rare that kind of strength is. When people are under pressure, they often take shortcuts. They lie to avoid trouble. They fake things to look good. They step on others to get ahead. They hurt people to protect themselves. But you didn't do that. You chose kindness when you could have chosen cruelty. You chose truth when you could have chosen lies. You chose patience when you could have forced results. You chose to stay true to your character, even when no one was clapping for you, even when it cost you time, comfort, or opportunities. That takes real courage. That takes real power. That's the kind of strength that doesn't fade over time. It only grows. And let's be honest, there were moments when you almost broke. There were nights when you lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how much more you could handle. There were days when you were so exhausted that even breathing felt like work. There were times when you felt like you were drowning under the weight of everything, when you thought, I can't do this anymore. But somehow, some way, you kept going. You took another step. You faced another day. You made it through another night. And every single time you did, you were proving something to yourself, something most people never get to discover. You are so much stronger than you realize. It's not just about surviving. It's about how you survived. You didn't just go through pain. You grew through it. You didn't just make it out of the storm. You became someone new because of it. Someone who knows how to stand tall even when the wind is against you. Someone who knows how to keep moving forward even when you can't see the road ahead. Someone who knows how to hold on to hope even when everything feels dark. That's who you are now. And that's why this moment matters so much. This isn't the end of your story. This is the beginning of a new chapter. One where you step into everything you were prepared for. You have been through the fire, and you came out stronger. You have faced the test, and you passed. You have been shaped, not destroyed. And now you are ready for what's next. You are ready to take everything you've learned, everything you've become, and use it to step into the life that is waiting for you. You didn't get here by luck. You didn't get here by accident. You got here because you refused to quit. You got here because you stayed true to yourself. You got here because you held on, even when everything inside you wanted to let go. And now you are ready. Ready for the blessings, the breakthroughs, the opportunities, the love, the purpose, the peace, the joy that is coming your way. You are ready because you have already proven that you can handle what life throws at you. You are ready because you have already shown that you can survive the hard parts without losing yourself. So take a deep breath and let this truth sink in. You are stronger than you know, braver than you believe, and more powerful than you have ever given yourself credit for. You have passed every test life has thrown at you, and you are still standing. And that means you are ready, truly ready, for the beautiful, powerful, amazing things that are coming next. Some days it probably felt like life was pushing you to your breaking point. Like no matter how hard you tried to do the right thing, no matter how good your intentions were, the world just kept pushing back. It might have felt as if you were being punished for your goodness while others, who didn't seem to care about doing what was right, were rewarded and moving ahead. You probably sat with your thoughts, wondering why the pain wouldn't stop, why the struggles wouldn't ease up, why the storm in your life kept raging even when you were doing everything you could to stay steady. Questions likely filled your heart. Doubts quietly crept in. You might have asked yourself over and over, why me? Why does this hurt so much? Why can't I just catch a break? You probably looked around and saw people smiling, thriving, building happy lives while you were weighed down by burdens they couldn't see. It felt unfair. It felt lonely. The weight you carried, emotionally, mentally, and maybe even physically, left you wondering just how much longer you could hold on, how much more you were supposed to endure. You may have felt exhausted, worn thin, fragile on the inside, asking silently for something, anything to change. But even though it hurt, even though you felt like you were falling apart, you weren't breaking down the way you feared. You were actually being broken open. You weren't being punished by life, and you weren't being crushed for no reason. Something inside you, something strong and beautiful, was being uncovered, brought to the surface, awakened. There was a strength inside you all along that maybe you didn't even know existed, and the pain you were feeling was part of the process of pulling that strength out. You weren't being destroyed. You were being prepared. Life was stretching you beyond the limits you thought you had, pulling you into a new version of yourself that you hadn't met yet, shaping you into someone wiser, tougher, and more whole. And yes, it hurt. It stretched you in ways you didn't want, tested you in ways you didn't expect, and forced you to face things you never thought you could handle. But all of that was necessary. Diamonds can't form without intense pressure. Gold can't shine without being refined by fire. And a person can't rise to their true potential without being tested, pushed, challenged. The pressure you felt, the struggles you faced, the storms you walked through, they weren't there to break you. They were there to mold you. They were chipping away the fear, the doubt, the old insecurities, the parts of you that no longer served you. They were refining your character, sharpening your resilience, deepening your sense of purpose. Every tear you cried, every moment you thought you couldn't go on, Every time you held yourself together, even when you wanted to fall apart, all of it was shaping you into someone stronger, braver, and more capable than you could have imagined. The breaking wasn't the end. It was the start of something new, something powerful, something extraordinary. You weren't just surviving the pain. You were growing through it. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every disappointment was part of the process that brought you to where you are now. And as hard as it was necessary. You couldn't have reached the heights you're meant to reach without walking through the valleys. That's the part most people miss. Real growth doesn't come from comfort. Real strength doesn't come from ease. It comes from struggle, from facing what scares you, from standing tall, even when everything inside you is shaking. And now, after everything you've been through, you are stronger. You are wiser. You are more grounded in who you truly are. You've let go of the layers that were never meant to stay. And what's left is something solid, something unshakable. You've come through the fire with a clarity and resilience that can't be undone. Everything you went through has prepared you for what comes next. The hardest part is behind you. The foundation has been built. And now, with everything you've learned, everything you've become, you are ready. You're ready to step into the life you were made for. You're ready to move into the next chapter of your story. And here's the truth you may not have realized yet. You're only just beginning. You didn't get applause for the quiet work you did. There were no crowds cheering when you forgave someone who hurt you. There were no awards handed out when you chose to stay kind instead of lashing out. When you kept going forward despite the heavy burdens you carried inside. The world probably overlooked your quiet sacrifices, your silent strength, the countless small moments of courage no one else could see. You didn't get a trophy for staying true to your heart when it would have been easier to give up. But that doesn't mean your efforts were wasted or invisible. Even if no one else noticed, your perseverance mattered. What counted wasn't how impressive you looked to others or how much recognition you got. What counted was the way you kept going when no one was watching. What counted were the unseen moments, the times you chose love when anger wanted to take over, the days you chose to heal when you could have held a grudge, the moments you quietly kept putting one foot in front of the other, even when you wanted to stop. It was never about applause or rewards. It was about your heart, your strength, your quiet decision to rise above what was trying to pull you down. And even though you may not have heard it, something meaningful was happening behind the scenes. You were being prepared. You were being lifted. You were being promoted, not in a way that comes with titles or money, but in a way that changes you on the inside, that strengthens you at your core. Because when you stayed faithful, when you kept going despite the pain, the world began to shift around you. Doors that had once been closed began to crack open. Things that once felt impossible started to move closer. A sense of peace began to settle inside you, not a peace tied to circumstances, but a peace tied to the quiet knowing that you were on the right path. The noise of the world faded, and in that silence, you found clarity. You found your true purpose, the one that had been waiting for you all along. The one you were always meant to claim. That purpose is now calling you forward. Life honors those who stay faithful in silence. Every tear you cried, every whispered hope, every determined step you took in the dark, all of it mattered. All of it was seen. All of it shaped you into the person you are now. And that's where the real reward lives, not in public praise, but in the deep knowing that you have become someone stronger, someone braver, someone more true to yourself than you have ever been. Your perseverance, your resilience, your character, those are the things that lift you up. Those are the things that make you shine. And now, after everything you've been through, you are ready to step into the next part of your journey with open eyes and an open heart. You've passed the hardest tests, even the ones no one knew you were taking. And now, life is preparing to show you just how far you've come. You may have wondered why you so often felt different, why you felt left out, why no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't seem to fully fit in. You watched others move forward while you waited, stuck in uncertainty, unsure of where your path was leading. That loneliness felt heavy, sometimes even unbearable. You felt like you were walking a road no one else understood. But deep down, you always sensed that your story was different. And you were right. People who are meant for something greater are often separated before they are elevated. It's not because they've done something wrong. It's because they have a purpose that requires them to grow in solitude first. There's a season where you feel alone, where you feel misunderstood, where you feel like you're on the outside looking in. But that season is not meant to break you. It's meant to shape you. It's meant to prepare you. In that quiet space, you began to discover who you truly are. Without distractions, your vision became clearer. Without the noise of others' opinions, you found your own voice. That time alone was not a punishment. It was a refining. It was the time when you learned to walk strong on your own, without needing approval or validation from anyone else. It was the time when you faced your own fears, stood tall in your own strength, and learned to hear your own heart above everything else. You were never truly alone. You were just being prepared for something greater, something that would one day allow you to lead and guide others. In your solitude, you gathered wisdom, clarity, and courage. You filled yourself with your own truth, so you wouldn't be defined by anyone else's opinions. You aren't behind, even if it feels like you've been waiting forever. You've been preparing, building, strengthening. The time is coming when you will step fully into your purpose. What once looked like a setback will reveal itself as preparation. You've been in the shadows, but now you are ready to step into the light. You've been walking alone, but not anymore. Others will be drawn to you, not because you sought them out, but because your path and your purpose will naturally attract them. You are ready. This is your time to rise. Now it's your time to teach. You've walked through storms that tried to tear you apart. You've faced wounds that left deep marks. You've been through nights that tested every part of you, but you didn't give up. You didn't let the pain define you. And now, you're not just a survivor. You're a guide. You carry more than scars now. You carry wisdom. You carry more than memories. You carry lessons. Everything you went through wasn't just for you. It was also so you could help someone else. Every tear, every whispered prayer, every quiet victory, it all matters. None of it was wasted. The path you walked in the dark is now a map for someone else. The voice you found in your quiet moments is now a light for others still searching for their own. The wisdom you gained from your hardest moments has the power to help someone else heal. You know what it's like to doubt yourself. You know what it's like to feel invisible. So when someone else faces their darkest hour, you will know what to say, not because you read about it in a book, but because you lived through it yourself. You will recognize the silent struggles, the hidden pain, the weary souls, and now you are ready to help pull them forward. You don't need a stage or a title to make a difference. Your life is the message. You can encourage the discouraged. You can remind the weary of their strength. You can tell people they are not too far gone, that they are not forgotten, that their story is not over. Speak honestly, even about the parts of your story that still hurt, especially about those parts, because people don't need perfection. They need realness. When you speak from the heart, walls come down. When you share the truth about what you've survived, you give others permission to be honest about their own struggles. Your scars prove that healing is possible. And as you rise, remember to lift others with you. True greatness is not about standing above others. It's about reaching back and helping them rise too. You don't lose anything by helping others win. In fact, you multiply your impact. You are no longer just being tested. Now you are being trusted. The hardest tests were given to you, not to break you, but to build you. And now that you've passed, you are being given a new mission: to lead, to love, to teach, and to help transform the lives of others. The world is waiting, and you, after everything you have endured, are finally ready.